But we begin tonight with Mark Fuhrman, who's a former LAPD detective and a Fox News contributor. Mark, good to see you. And so let's just start with this account, which has reportedly been confirmed by a source close to the case. So it's not just Josie claiming she's spoken with the officer and his wife in particular, but a source very familiar with the case saying this will indeed be the story of the officer when we ultimately hear it. Does it sound plausible to you that this man, this 18-year-old, would try to shove a cop back in the car, would punch him, the gun would go off, he would then run, he would then turn around, he would start running back to the cop, who has a gun, the cop does, to try to force a confrontation?
Well, Megyn, let's start with this. First, you can't predict, nor can you explain what people do on the street, especially in situations like this. Michael Brown, from the onset of me reading and catching up with this story, he has appeared to be the aggressor from the very beginning, whether at the robbery or the contact with the officer, he was the aggressor. And once this officer didn't even get a chance to get out of the car before Michael Brown was on him, and now the officer knows that he's confronting a robbery suspect. He doesn't know if he's armed, and that suspect is now assaulting a uniformed police officer. So that is a bold act all unto itself. Having the gun go off after grappling with the officer, having the opportunity to flee, and yet he turns around and charges the officer, is fairly consistent with his first act, throwing an officer into the car and getting on top of him and grappling with him and trying to get his gun. So I don't find any of this inconsistent from the robbery video until the end.
What do you mean?
Well, it's not inconsistent that Michael Brown was aggressive. He threw the owner of the convenience store aside and stole some objects in there, committed a strong-arm robbery. He's walking down the middle of the street. All he had to do when the officer was approaching is get on the sidewalk. Quite possibly this never would have occurred. Instead, he confronts the officer. He charges the officer in the car. He assaults an officer, another felony. Now he's grappling with the officer trying to get his gun, another felony.
But let me just jump in and ask you about this, because his companion, Dorian Johnson, Michael Brown's companion, Dorian Johnson, came out and said that the officer came by, this is his initial report last week, told them to get the F off the sidewalk. So far they're almost even, that the cop wants them off of the road and onto the sidewalk, and he actually said that they tried to say, hey, we're almost at our destination. So again, kind of consistent that they didn't comply, that they gave the cop a little guff about it, but says they then began walking away. He claimed that the cop then put the truck in reverse, nearly hit the guys, and allegedly grabbed Brown by the neck after he tried to open his door, and Brown just got hit by the door. The companion to Michael Brown says the cop opened the door into Michael Brown. Michael Brown got hit by the cop, and then the cop grabbed him by the neck, and a confrontation ensued. Brown ran away and got shot.
Well, yeah, everything that leads up to what you just said, if the door hit Michael Brown, whether intentional or by accident, that doesn't mean you get to attack a uniformed police officer, try to disarm him and kill him. I mean, that's the way it goes. This officer has some rights, too. Part of his job description isn't die on duty. He has absolutely no knowledge of this robbery suspect or this young man that is assaulting him, if he has a gun, if he has a knife, if he has any other type of weapon. Now he's on his back in the front seat of a police car battling this individual, and now he believes his life's in danger. These are the facts. The witness laid this out. I didn't hear this witness
that's
before.
one witness's account.
I didn't hear this before, but I could conclude exactly what happened just from the little tidbits of information. When there's an altercation in the front seat of a police car and the officer's on the bottom, it doesn't occur because the officer wants it that way. Mm-hmm. That is because the suspect has engaged the officer in a situation that is the worst tactical situation you could be in.
Quick question before I let you go. The autopsy results appear to show most of the bullets on the right side of Michael Brown's body. What does that tell you, if anything?
Well, as far as the grappling, I would first want to know if the officer's right-handed and the suspect's right-handed. It appears that the suspect was attempting to control the officer with his left hand and grapple for the gun with his right. That would be consistent. And as far as the shots, when they were a distance apart, if that's what happened, I can't account for that. But the close-in shots, it would appear that the grappling occurred with two right-handed individuals.
Mark Fuhrman, thank you.
Thank you.